Yeah, second song.
Everyone ready? Call to order. Like to lead us, Mr. Giltner, in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone, please be sure that your phones are silent. You can videotape all you want, just as long as it doesn't make any noise or interfere with the meeting. It's tonight's committee meeting for September 12th, 2022, 6 p.m. We do have a list for our council reports. Anyone on the infrastructure, ground, streets, and sidewalk committee?
Brian's not here. I think the primary thing we kind of wanted to go over was the asphalt overlay. Just kind of give us an update on where we stand with that. When we can expect something.
Well, received one bid, for it. Guys, the bid was 214,356. Is what that bid is. So I'll be looking for some point of council to approve that work. Actually, the quicker we can get it approved, the quicker we can.
They give it an indication once our start.
Like maybe the first week or two of October, they want to try to get it in before the weather gets in, so it's colder.
How many, I don't want to committee, how many inches of asphalt, Kellen?
So it varies. In some places it will average 2, in some places it will average 3, depending on the street.
Okay, the even, that's so.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's correct.
okay.
Listing the street.
Sure, we've got them right here. So those streets are Old Buffalo Street, the Maryland Street from 9th Street up to Maple, 10th Street from North Carolina to South Carolina, Johnson Street, small section of Tennessee Street between Boyd and Haley, Kentucky Street from Kelly to Dover Drive, and Marion Drive and Michael Drive, and that starts that first hard corner as you come up Marion Drive.
Could you make yourself a note when you get a chance, shoot me the list?
Sure,
My memory's not
sure,
terribly good.
right.
Lindy, is this going to be, going to be accepted through resolution?
Yeah, we can do that at the next meeting if you'd like, or I don't know if it was that on the agenda for later.
It is.
I don't recall if the bid package was in the packet. Would that be fine, Kelly, to do it at the next regular meeting on the resolution? Is that just next week
It'd be 2 weeks.
or 2 weeks? Yeah.
Be pushing us on time, but whatever. What everybody's comfortable with.
I mean, if we can, I'm comfortable doing that tonight, but if there's something we need to do, I guess we need to do it. It's on our agenda for this evening. Lindy, is there a reason we can't approve it tonight or no?
Sorry, council.
Yeah, it's on our council meeting agenda for this evening.
I think it's up to whatever the council's comfortable with. I don't recall if the package has already been before you guys. I know there's been a lot of these, so I can't remember if this was all part of one big bid package that we reviewed. I have gone through it already and made revisions to it, and I believe the committee has too. Rodney, right? I think you've seen it.
Right. And that was the package left for bid and bids were received. Whenever they were open, I can remember getting an email. Out of bid.
So yeah, I think the bid can be accepted by the council orally tonight.
So but they won't be entering the contract tonight, though. They'll just be accepting the bid.
Well, they would need to authorize the contract as well. Yeah, Kelly to sign the contract.
Have anything in front of us tonight in writing?
I mean, what exactly are we needing? We've had the bids, we know the bid. What are we missing to authorize the contract?
So typically, Linda, you can correct me, but typically, whenever we enter a contract, it's got to be reduced in writing. If the bid was included in the packets and stuff, we can base it off that, but we actually have nothing in front of us. And you're asking us to approve something that we may have gone over in detail, but the final package is not in front of us. That's my only question. The council, it's your all's pleasure. I may object to it, but it's your all's pleasure. I'm just saying that's due or diligent process.
We approve this tonight verbally and have the contract come up at the next meeting and actually sign it, and it's gonna delay us in any way, shape, or form.
It could, but I mean, that's just, but that's happening.
Oh,
We're
that would be,
starting the process on the 28th, not having any contracts to at that time, so.
when's the next meeting, 24th?
26.
The 26th, whatever.
I mean, not
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today.
I got something else going on the 28th. Yeah, when I say leave, I may be mistaken, but I think memory sent all that to everybody's email today, the entire package, so.
Oh, I did. I sent it to you, Kelly.
Okay, I'm staying corrected.
Any other discussion for infrastructure, ground, streets, sidewalk?
I keep hearing different sides of people would like to have a strike down Georgia. Any? Here's a no.
Well,
I can tell by the face. Well,
It is expensive.
I think the main complaint I
It
get
was
is
over $10,000 on 7th Street when we laid it.
the biggest complaint I get is like right around that curve area by 19th Street. They say it's just hard to see right there at night sometimes, but it's not very well lit. That's, I guess, the biggest concern about being able to see the difference.
Kelly, have you price striping lately?
And,
I had just wondered with state being here working on 79, if there was, did they ever do a little side job? These like them, not as a freebie,
I've never had any luck.
not as a freebie, but, well, it's a thought.
I've spoken with our Eastern District Commissioner, Tom Paulus, and they do have some ARPA funds that left. And was asking if there's anything that the council and the city could use. And the big thing is safety related, is the big thing that he is coming across with. So striping could be something, but they would need a cost. And another thing that was pointed out to me was right there past the school as you're heading west, you know, where the creek is before you get to the church, we got that fence there, a guardrail on maybe both sides. That might be something that we can use some ARPA funds if the council or the commission still has funds left. We just gotta have a proposal and a cost for them to earmark that for us.
I know at one time, way back when, because we've gone through all of these same plan things over and over. There was talk of maybe even putting like a little bridge across that creek, because where the fencing is there with the road, it's really narrow and people walking through there, like especially kids going to school or something. It's a real narrow, kind of dangerous little area. I know we fenced it off because we had a lady fall in the creek, so. I found it out.
Talking right there in front of the church.
Yeah, between the church and the school. Creek there.
But
Good.
Bowling Green has that. It's there by the museum house thing. There's a little bridge across the creek. It's kind of cute. I mean, it's got personality to boot.
So I mean, if the council wants to look into that, we just have to add some direction from the council.
I'd say at least get some. Starting pricing and kind of get an idea what we'd be looking at. If
The
it's.
subdivision there, I asked, the school and the city one time to put a bridge across there so it'd make it easier for the, children coming from the subdivision. And, it came back that the subdivision would have to pay.
Kids my age, before my age, and my own kids, there's a path that's still being down through there.
It was quite a while ago, but that's just.
I would say we could certainly, Kelly, could you get some pricing on striping and some guardrail? That probably be accomplished without any expenditures. If we're to get pricing on any kind of a bridge, we're gonna require some outside engineering estimate. Would cost us money, depending on what the county has available. My guess is we could get either the striping and or the guardrail. But it's different what they've got available. Yeah, why don't you get some pricing together and see what they have.
Well, the guardrail, I agree.
And guardrail, I would kind of be more. Just if it was one or the other, just off the cuff, it sounds, I think the guardrail may be better bang for the buck, but we just have to see what that, how much bang that is.
Or
Anything else, infrastructure, ground, street, sidewalk? All right, public safety and police hiring committee?
we never did roll call. Oh, no, it's on here.
Uh-uh.
Okay, it's not, sorry. What is the next agenda?
Councilman Ringhausen, you got four.
On the, public safety, I guess probably the one over the covered up would be the vehicles, the packet on that. Check and be, discuss now or later, or
I mean, we can discuss it now, if you want to, if the council wants to, or we just, your all's pleasure.
discuss it. Right? What's going on, we gotta get something done, so I can talk about it now. I can't remember the number. I'm sorry. Might as well talk about it now. Okay. Chief Jones.
He's not going to get back yet. He'll be here, but he's not back yet.
I can put on those chief this back and go around it.
Fine. I will say one thing about this, this is a lot of stuff that I presented to the council, gave you. My stance on regardless of how we got to here is I know we can afford more. We have to be squeezing a lot of,
We'll talk about all this when he gets back.
okay. Anything else for the police or hiring?
No.
committee?
No.
All right, ordinance committee,
Nothing tonight.
economic development, tourism committee,
Nothing at this time.
housing, health, senior services, disadvantage.
Not really. There's one house that Jeff has been concerned about. On Virginia Street. Can you help me out with any info there, Ellen?
Well, it's just basically there's an abandoned house at 601 Virginia that I think the neighbor's been taking care of the yard and wants to start the process on, either trying to get someone to take it over or the city to move forward to bring it into compliance.
So I think we should take that on to full council for the end of the month, full council for further discussion. That's all I have.
All right, any other questions? All right, Enterprise Public Utilities Committee.
Only thing I had was just an update on the sewer project. Kelly, if you could kind of bring us up to speed on that, that'd be great.
The contracts were signed on the city side late last week. Mailer has picked them up to sign their part. Hopefully sometime around October, somewhere probably mid to late October. I would think all indications they've been giving, that's whenever they would start the projects.
What's their estimated time of construction on that?
I think they had 180 days to contract, right?
So it's
If I remember right.
Go in the next spring.
Well, yeah, and it could be extended because there's paving with this contract. And by the time they put sewers in, we'd be in snow already, so.
That's all I had.
Was that earmarked, in the budget like COVID money or,
What's it called?
Yeah, it's ARPA,
ARPA money.
yeah,
part of the COVID money?
yes.
American Rescue.
Since I'm a latecomer, what all is involved in COVID, projects?
So it was a list of sewers and roads for these sewers than what it is, but the bids come in high enough that we had to cut it down to 3. So what they'll do is replace the sewers, the manhole, the collection system along these streets, and then they're going to overlay the street after it's done.
That was after, before I came on.
That's correct.
Okay.
Did we change which option we went with since we got the ARPA fund? I remember we discussed it, we touched on.
Well, we originally, I was looking up the email, originally we had to, because we only had half of the ARPA, that would only do one of the projects, and we originally said we were only gonna do Tennessee and 14th and hold on Cemetery Road until the other half come in. If you remember, the emails come in like 2 days after the meeting, the other half came in. So we went ahead and allowed them. So
I recall we authorized it that as soon as the funds came in.
that is,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Community Employee Relations Committee,
Nothing off the top of my head.
taking nominations, any recognition of any city employees. Any citizen, let us know. We'll surely want to give recognition at our next regular council meeting. All right, anything budget finance? Don't have committee, but the whole, any questions on anything?
You know, one thing on the Community and Employee Relations Committee, if you wanted to further outreach to boosters needing help.
Yeah, I did. Everyone except for Mr. Giltner, I sent out an email asking anyone with the city council to help assist the booster club for the schools, help at the concession stands. And we had 3 dates. I pushed out in the email, the 23rd, the 7th, and I'm not sure on the next one. But anyway, so if anyone, I know Councilman Sutter and myself are going, we haven't picked a date yet. But the invites to anyone on the council or city or want to participate.
I'll go.
Okay.
I didn't know if
I
they
worked in enough of them.
We just don't, I don't think we want to do homecoming. I think we went. You know what?
Music Boosters is doing a 4-way collection too, October 1st. Both 4-way by the bridge and by the banks. That will support all 3 schools, music programs, uniforms, if kids can't afford shoes or whatever, that helps cover. Whether they participate.
Yeah, I didn't know as far as the reach, if they were, if you could apply it to the public too.
Yeah,
if it
so-
was-
Yeah,
Yeah, I know they put it on a Facebook post. They just need some help, and I know some of the banks are helping out, and some of the businesses are helping it out. Yeah, and I read that and I reached out, so I think we might be able to, so.
All right.
never hurts to spread the word a little further.
Great. All right, any miscellaneous business? We adjourn.
Ready, we are going to our next meeting.
City of Louisiana, Missouri Special Council Meeting, Monday, September 12th. It is approximately 6:20 in the evening. I'm calling the meeting to order. We'll stand and do the pledge of allegiance again.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City clerk, take the roll call, please.
Darth,
Here.
Evans,
Here.
Darnell. Here. Miller,
Here.
Joe,
Here.
Roberts,
Here.
Gobert.
Here.
Springhouse.
All right, have a quorum. First item on the agenda is the lease purchase of police department vehicles.
He is on his way out, pouring that out. Something that,
I said 4 or 4.
he's just the Oldbury.
You what? Ellsbury.
Did everyone get, I think everyone got his response, right?
Correct.
I did get the response and went through the original packet. Haven't purchased anything. I mentioned earlier, no matter how we got what we are, we're here at the current time. So the decision I think that we need to make is, it's fairly limited in scope. We're either gonna buy 0, 1, or 2 vehicles. I did talk to Chief today and asked, what's our situation of getting through, we get through the year with 1 instead of 2 new vehicles. And the concern that was raised was we've got 2 vehicles right now that are either in or soon to be in some substantial maintenance issues. So the trade-off would be, again, he can certainly expound on that. The trade-off is going to be if we get 1 and try and run through, we're going to be spending a fairly substantial amount of money on into vehicles that are probably getting towards the end of the life expectancy. I think the number that he told me. Transmission is and the Impala is going in the front end on the Ford. River City had indicated a possible 5,000 for one and 7,000 for the other. If it comes to repairing those 2 items. So that's the information that he gave me today that I can add to the discussion.
At least in for 5,000, then you can only buy 1. We'd still have to repair 1 of those 2, so I guess we take the cheaper of the 2.
Yes, I don't know the overall condition. I don't know if after fixing the more expensive one to fix, we have a better vehicle. I'd say we'd take whichever one would be
That lasts longer after
Yeah,
repair.
if it's repaired, which one gives us the best chance of?
Well, the way I understand it, I don't even think the Impala's got a cage in it, so you'd have to do the other one.
What do you mean by that?
It doesn't have a cage separating the seats.
Okay.
So you'd have to do the other one for it to be a normal patrol car.
Does the Taurus have a cage?
So just throwing it out there for options and council's pleasure, we already got a resolution that's passed and vetoed, and that can be override with the two. October 23rd is the new, qualified, vendors coming out for the Chargers, the sedans. So that's when they are eligible. We also, and really, as far as the price difference with the new pricing, we wouldn't be saving much compared to what we would get right, with these. So it definitely makes sense that we buy one. I know it definitely makes sense. We gotta buy one. We're buying it on credit anyway, not a really good practice, but if we elected to go with the sedan in October 23rd, we can look at a sedan, a Charger, and maybe go ahead and plan and apply for our USDA grants and try to get that funding. We've been successful in it in the past, and the surrounding communities have been successful. in
I
it.
seriously doubt, Mayor, that you could go retroactive. It'd have to be on something that you're buying, up front or several months ahead of time.
You're absolutely right. That's why I said October 23rd is when the new qualified vendors list comes out for a Charger. If you used to get one Explorer today, and if council want to look at the Chargers, as far as the cost savings, it definitely makes sense to buy the Explorer, the second one, for the cost because of the year to year, but we are foregoing any type of reimbursement.
I agree with what Kelly said. Kelly said, and he's the one that fixes the budget up, that we did not have it in there. I don't see how we can spend, I don't care if we have an 8-year or 9-year lease, and I disagree with your statement that you said that we're charging them anyway. It's got to be paid down the line somewhere. And if we say that we can afford one, I would go along with that. But when I came in here tonight and I saw responses upon responses to responses, I'm damn sick and tired of that. Here we are again, we cannot communicate with each other. The chief and the mayor or the chief cannot communicate together, and yet they're in the same building, we're in the same city, we're on the same subjects, and yet we can't seem to get anything done. And I'm tired of this. That's baby. This is all baby stuff. And I think that I'm for buying one car. I understand that. But I am opposed to buying both of them. And if they cost more next year, let's let next year come and then we'll see where we are. But if Kelly says we can take one now. And is that, you still stand with that?
Yeah, my statement is that the budget included money for one additional car for a lease purchase, but it wasn't budgeted for two. You would have to add money to that budget if you was to buy the second one or the other lease purchase payment.
Well, my stand, I would go for the one car. I would not go for both of them. And anytime that we make decisions concerning money, let's look at your own money and how do you handle it?
Do we just harem scare them, go off and just buy whatever we want? And do we just spend everything that we have close? If you do, God help you. That's, you know, but I wanna get back to this communication. Why in the what's my language? Heck. Can't we communicate with each other? Why can't we?
Well,
I don't understand.
we can wait a minute when we get there and we can let him speak his piece.
Yes, I agree,
mean,
I agree, both
I don't
sides,
have-
I'm not thinking.
I don't have the budget in front of me, but I know that you guys had said you had made the budget for 2 chargers, right?
That's correct.
Which were 28.5 or something like that.
Right. Correct.
So if that money's there, we can get the one. So if you buy the one, basically in full budget wise, the other one's just gonna be the additional lease agreement for however much is left on the other Explorer. Am I understanding that right?
So both of them would have to be, both of them would have to have lease purchase.
Budgeted the payments, didn't budget it outright.
Right, that's
Yeah.
correct.
So in the budget, there's already the 28.5 times 2 that's already there.
No, because we still budgeted lease purchase for those also because of these vehicles are more. You know, we took that above those two payments.
Right.
So
But
that's
you
where
had
that extra
the-
comes from.
You had what you were shooting for originally. So basically the money that should have been there for them is essentially still there, just a different amount. So we have to cover the difference.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is correct.
No, same amount.
No, not the same amount, different amount.
Different.
But if the money's still there, you know, without having everything in front of me as far as what's what, and what's this and what they'd already done, you know, coming in here, a lot of this stuff was already voted on for you and I ever even sat down in here. So,
So I'm gonna correct you on that. There's no official minutes of anything authorizing any of this to transpire prior to us coming into office. I've had the city clerk research the minutes and the agendas and discussions, and nothing's been found. That's the original thought process. And I have the audio between me and the dealership talking about this whole process and how we communicate. And I'm on the thought process, well, we got on the list back in November and December. No, there's no such thing. He's now looking for it, maybe for the Chargers, maybe there was or something else, but there's no bid process. The qualified vendors process, what's called now, and that started last year because of all the production rates being dumped because of COVID, right? So it's a first come, first serve through a qualified vendor for a police or a patrol vehicle, right? So knowing this, you know, back in May, and I kind of pointed out, you know, the department reached out and looked to see where there are any vehicles at. All the vehicles have been accounted for. People put their names on that list. It's already been accounted. Now the Chargers may have been dropped. They said, hey, we're not producing any this year. But when we reached out, the PD found 2 unclaimed vehicles, and we got them sitting right here right now. And that is all done verbally, nothing in writing, because there's never been an issue with the dealership dealing with the municipality. With the verbal agreement and a handshake, say, we'll take them. Well, they showed up here. No one here knew anything about it on this council or the city administrator, myself. And this verbal agreement was done in May 2nd of this year, ahead of our budget. If just that simple communication of being shared with the council and with the city administrator, this could have been budgeted. We had the dollar amounts figured right then and there. We got the bid price May 2nd. It could have been included in our budget, and none of this would have been an issue right now. It would have been planned for. That's my biggest concern, is our planning and how we got from A to Z. It don't really make too much of a difference. We got 2 vehicles sitting up here right now, and we're in need of a vehicle. And really, we're probably in need of 2, but due to lack of planning, we haven't budgeted and done so accordingly to accommodate 2 purchases unless we dive into our reserve. And I'll stand, Councilman Gilmer, when I said put it on a credit card, I don't usually purchase large items on credit cards. I made that statement as a derogatory statement. We're the city, we got, we're dealing with $2 to $4 million of budget between the enterprise and the city. We can't plan and budget for buying a car, but we bought a new street department vehicle, couple of them. Because it was planned for, it was budgeted for, and we got it. Same thing should occur with the police department vehicles. I don't want to deny a vehicle for, what's a word, for punishment or retribution. It's just what is physically responsible of us as a business. If this is my business, I wouldn't be buying 2 of those vehicles. I may need 2 or 3 vehicles, but I know responsibility, we have to be responsible with our taxpayers' money. And we got to plan for what we do in the future. The stuff popping up on us and not knowing about it. And then you come to find out it's been known about for the last 2 or 3 months or 4 months. Why wasn't that shared? That's my, but the council has a decision to make, buy 2 vehicles, buy 1 vehicle, or it's, it's your all's decision. It's for the community, for our citizens.
Where's the money for the repairs for these other 2 cars coming?
I'm sure it comes out of our line items. There's line items for repairs. And we, like any other business, there might be some things that we have no control over and have to go in the red. But if we have no control over it, like an emergency or something of that nature that, we just have to do it. But if we can plan for something and prepare for something and do it right, we can swing that bat all day long and hit home runs. But when they start throwing curveballs at us, we're going to miss. And we're not doing our taxpayers a good service.
So Kelly, we're budgeting for the 2 vehicles, but these are different vehicles now. Do you know, I know the Will's not here right now, but do you know how much, did Will think he could swing the budget? Because we always revise the budget at mid-year, right, to see how things are going. Do you have any impression whether he thinks he's got that somewhere? Like, for example, if in the end we're 5,000 or 7,000 over or something, we don't have to repair one of these for 5,000 or 7,000, or both of them. Does he think that the difference can be made up in that way? Do you have any idea?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
Well, if at mid-year, we're showing 40,000 or 50,000 deficit. We don't know. And that's why we have a mid-year budget to find out where we are, and if we're way in deficit spending, that's where we have to cut back for the rest of the year. But if we add on to it, add another 60-some thousand to it, where? Not 60,000, let me back off of that. 35 plus 5, 40,000. I think we have to use common sense in what we're getting at. Well, so we all like to have our toys. You do, I do, everybody does. But there's sometimes we have to back off from a toy to see where we are. Otherwise, we get the toy and then we can't afford it.
Well, that's why I was asking Kelly if he knew, because Will is the one who
couldn't, right?
who manages the department, right?
Yeah.
And so he's looking at his budget regularly, right? So he would have an idea where we are. And if we don't have to have an expenditure on something else, he would know if we're gonna have those savings to be able to fit it in, right?
But I think,
Because ultimately we do need 2 vehicles. I think we all agree about that. It's the question about when.
we just put the tax levy on to the citizens. And we tax them to the max that we can without their vote.
We didn't.
We took a voluntary reduction.
We haven't voted on that yet.
We voted on it at the special meeting on the 31st.
He wasn't here.
I've not been one I missed.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was left as it was.
huh?
It was left as it was before. did not raise the levy.
Okay,
So
so our levy has not been raised.
No.
But even if we had raised it, the amount of money would be not enough to buy one car.
Well, but we've already budgeted for two. And so it's not the
Well,
whole,
we didn't budget. for two.
Yeah,
Well,
yes, we did.
charges.
wait, we budgeted for two, or the payments for two rather, not the full amounts for two.
Correct.
But then the chargers we were looking for were not available anymore. And so now they were looking at Explorers because they found that there were two of those available. And so it's the difference between the Chargers and the Explorers that creates the problem.
Just to be clear about that, we knew about that before our new budget went into effect. Our budget wasn't ratified until the end of May. And we knew by May 2nd what the costs were going to be and everything. So I just want to be clear on it. It's not, because we're kind of tilting and diverting to, make it sound better or worse. It don't make too much difference. But if we just stick with the facts, we do need two vehicles. I know we can afford one right now, and we can get on a list on October 23rd for a Charger, work for a grant. And then by that time, we'll have a mid-year budget come around by the time those vehicles are
We get put on the
available.
list. How long's it gonna take to get a car?
Build time. It's build time. If you're on the list, you're guaranteed a car. So that's why we was never on a list back in November or October of last year. Maybe they didn't have a list.
But do
For
we
the
have an
Charger.
estimate on the time?
So something.
About 10 months.
9 or 10 months ago,
Yeah.
that's all.
It'll be August of next year we'd get it. then.
Haven't seen now and then.
If it even holds ground, I mean,
Well,
there's still no shortages on tips, I mean, it's still happening.
you're absolutely right, but we're a population, 3,000. There's surplus at the highway patrol. There's, I mean, heaven forbid that we buy a used vehicle. I don't know. I mean, I like to buy a new vehicle, maintenance and everything else, but the highway patrol gets rid of their cars, at 50,000 miles and there's still life left in them, but I'm not advocating. I'm just throwing out options.
I believe Will actually reached out to the highway patrol before we even got through this. That they reached out to the highway patrol to get some used cars that they don't have any themselves to give away. I mean, I believe that there was a reach out to any department in the area and surrounding areas saying, hey, do you have anything you're not using we could get? And
So
nothing.
this is one of the things, it kind of falls back to Councilman Giltner and, everyone else was on this council in April except for Councilman Giltner. And what you're telling me was never communicated to this council or to the committee or to myself. Now, you may have communicated with him or Councilman Ringhausen may have communicated with him about it, but this is something a decision that's made before the whole council. And should be shared with the council when we plan and we budget and we schedule what our needs are. I don't want to keep beating that bush. We're still in the situation. We got two cars and the dealership either wants them back or we sign off and buy one or two of them. Okay. I know we can afford one, and another option I'll throw out there, just something to think about. Go ahead and buy two of them. Do not outfit the second one until after the mid-year budget. I'm just saying, that's another option.
That would make no sense.
Everything, well, it is. I mean, anyone who runs their household and pay bills, you put off until you can afford to do it. But I'm just throwing it out there. It's the council's pleasure. So I would like I apologize if the chief isn't here to give further insight, but I'd like to see movement on this, so we're not able to give a definitive answer to the dealership that's been graciously, waiting on us.
Why can't you just get a little bit older cars?
So we've got a couple of options. Looks like we could either have a motion to override the veto on the existing resolution and buy two. Or, and I think it sounds like there's, in lieu of that, we'll certainly support to purchase one and roll the dice on placing the other one at a later date. Those are our two. Those are our two options. You know, the crapshoot part of it is the function of our existing vehicles from an operational standpoint. I get the fact that you don't want to stretch an or otherwise already tight budget. But that's the decision we have to make, is which of those two are the lesser of two evils. So those are the two decisions that we have.
If something should happen that we would need possibly another vehicle, if we bought one and we needed a second. There is such a thing as an emergency meeting or proven what it's for, and we have an emergency meeting, we have a council. And the funds can be there. We had it last winter, I think it was, when we blew up, or what was it, kind of the blades? The blade on a big dump truck or something.
Something of the one that dump trucks, we had to do an emergency.
We had an
Something
emergency
themselves.
meeting, we had to come up with money, we had to come up with the truck. And we had the meeting, we voted on it, we got the truck, it was in operation, ready to plow snow.
Yeah.
That's what I call an emergency,
Right.
you have to have something like that.
I think
I remember, not real clear, but I remember discussing something with Will, not in deep conversation, but just general conversation about, you know, we're gonna be needing cars down the road. And it was so light that I don't remember, but I do not ever remember it coming to the floor or to the council. So, yes, I heard something, some discussions, some talk, but I can't ever remember it coming to the floor for any kind of a vote or anything like that. So I'm kind of lost there, but I know that we did talk about it, but it could have been the parking lot or whatever. But if worse comes to worse, there's an emergency, we will get a second car if we have to have one. We can't operate through the winter months and everything else if something should happen and we end up another car short, and then we're two cars short again, so. We got some thinking to do.
Kind of a situation where, I mean, for years, you've just been able to go order a police car, and all of a sudden, that's not the situation. They're, you know, they're not being produced at the rate they had been. And we could be in need of one and not be able to get one for 6 months
Or more.
or more.
I mean, you said 10.
New one for sure.
Possibility, yeah. Have you guys seen the new patrol cars, like actually been inside of them at all? Looked inside?
I bet you have.
That was unnecessary.
I want to go look at it.
Yeah,
What?
sorry, there's two things going on. I just haven't really looked at it, sorry.
So what did I do? Did I look at you wrong or what?
Something maybe not appropriate. But I mean, we're waiting on one
Nothing
anyway,
unusual.
so any recess we can just real quick, for everybody to go look at it. Yeah, it's not gonna hurt anything.
I mean, I don't need them. But if somebody else does need to, that's fine also.
Well, I mean, I definitely, you know, I would propose this, and if anyone wants to take it up as a motion, I propose to purchase one vehicle. And go ahead and put our name down for the September 9th deadline, which is passed. You can still, one of the dealerships bought 12, and they're gonna keep 12. So if we still want an Explorer like that, we can go for that, or wait till October 23rd and try for a charge of it. At least at buying us time, I think we can get to the mid, because we can always back out of the deal once we get our name on the list. The car's not gonna show up until, spring at the earliest. So that'll give us a real good opportunity to look at the mid-year budget and see if we can follow through on a second vehicle. That tonight only authorized one vehicle.
I'd still like to. Was the chief coming in or was he on his way or?
You don't play.
He's on his way.
Let's move around, and of course, it's not gonna take long, let's at least go through the bids for the asphalt over the project.
Okay, so the motion to table, the lease purchase PD vehicles at this time, bring it up later.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign.
No.
Lease purchase is.
Came here, voted what we could do.
You can do it just a little bit later.
All right, next item is the bids for the 2022 asphalt overlay.
That's correct. 4356.
214 or 204?
214. 356.
Yeah.
So are you entertaining,
I'm getting ready to make a motion.
okay. I didn't want to change anything.
I would make a motion to authorize the execution, the approval of the bid from Mid Rivers Asphalt for $214,006 for the upcoming City of Louisiana overlay project.
Before it's seconded.
I rescind my second.
And to authorize Lindy to draft resolution for council approval of the contract. I know we authorized.
You need to authorize someone to sign the contract too, Kelly. Or I'm sorry, Rodney. If it's gonna be Kelly.
Well, hold on, Lindy. We're not approving the resolution tonight without it being seen. So we need it drafted and brought forward.
I mean, the bid pack went out. I mean, I guess, Lindy, unless you're telling us that we needed a resolution to approve this, I mean, I would prefer to make a motion to approve the bid and authorize the execution of the contracts. But if we need to do a resolution, let me know. I'll dump this motion and make a different one.
So I think you can, it's up to the council. You can authorize it by resolution. The 432-070 just says contracts have to be in writing, which the contract is in writing, and they have to be authorized by the governing body. But so as long as the minutes clearly authorize the signature of the contract, then that is fine, but it's up to the council.
So it's up to the council, but doing it by resolution, right?
No,
You authorize it by create a resolution contract, right? Lindsay, are you still drafting a resolution?
Only.
I can, it's up to, so you guys can authorize the execution of the, I guess I'm confused. If you don't authorize the contract to be signed tonight, then this is going to postpone the project, right, Kelly?
That's correct.
So the council could authorize Kelly to sign the contract and there could be a later resolution ratifying the action, if that's what you're asking for, Mayor.
Well, so that's kind of getting the cart before the horse. Here's the thing. With the resolution, everything's got to be reduced to writing before we enter into a contract.
Which it has been.
And we don't have that writing in front of us, and it hasn't been posted and given out. Entering contracts by motion is a bad practice. I think Greg and Lindy both would agree that's a bad and that's a terrible practice.
Is that correct, Greg and Lindy? Is that a bad and terrible practice?
I mean, In a perfect world, I would like to, yeah, I think it's better practice to have a resolution to authorize a contract, but also there are situations where sometimes I guess it isn't always feasible. So the law doesn't say that you have to authorize a contract by resolution. The minutes can be, the minutes themselves can be the authorizing writing as it relates to that statute, as long as it's clearly explained in the minutes. The problem that arises is that the motion is not clearly made, and then when you have to go back on the minutes to rely on them, they don't contain enough detail to fully authorize the contract.
And you did review the contract documents that went out in the bid proposal, correct?
I did, and I mean, Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong, the contract and the entire bid package is from our form, municipal
That's correct.
contract, public works contract. So, I mean, I'm comfortable with all the language and the provisions. I can say that there's not, it's drafted heavily handed towards the city.
So I'm going to first just rescind my motion that I made. Does anything else need to happen? Can I do that? Lindy,
You can withdraw your motion, yes.
I would withdraw that motion. I would like to make a motion to approve the bid and authorize the execution of the contract to Mid River Asphalt out of $214,056 for the Louisiana overlay project.
I'll second it.
Sorry,
Everybody-
somebody needs to be authorized to sign it.
And I would like to add to my motion to authorize the city administrator, Kelly Henderson, to execute the contract.
You rescinded your second.
I'll re-second it.
Okay. All right, open for discussion. Everyone, I know it needs to be done, but you know, we're not doing due diligence. I want the record to show that I clearly object to entering this contract without a detailed paperwork in front of us, whether that's through the contract, which I don't have in front of me, you know, or through a resolution. It's for pamping the mayor's authority to veto a resolution if he finds something inappropriate in it. And to be honest with you, I went through the contract a while back and I'd have to review it again. And I dare to say that everything that you're getting ready to vote on is based on trust, which is a great thing. If that's how you do business, I guess that's how you do business. I usually like reading the paperwork and knowing what I'm voting on.
For those on the council, in addition to Lindy reviewing the contract, I also reviewed the contract documents as well. With the point of emphasis, my review was primarily on the technical side, not so much the legal side of the contract, which Lindy. So, and we, both of us had a few modifications and changes, which Kelly made to the documents. He sent them to me again, to Lindy again, and I was fine with what was big. I had no problem.
And ultimately, it was a contract we wrote, right? And it's one that we've used.
Correct.
So it's not like it's unknown to the city or something.
Well, so we made changes to that to make the funding work for us, right? I just like to see that those changes that we made is actually there, what we agreed to. So, and doing something by motion like this without lack of detail, we may know the names of the streets.
The detail is there if you wanted to look at it. The detail has been there before it was bid out, and the detail is there now. I see no reason to push this cart down the road. We're not, you know, this isn't a contract that the contractor has proposed with us. This is a contract that we have proposed, modified, and sent to the contractor for bid.
How many bids did you review?
We received how many? One.
And how long was it posted? How long did it take just to get one?
So. I believe that they were sent out. I believe 45 days before the due date.
Any other questions? We got a motion and a second on the floor.
Call for the vote.
Memory, take a roll, please.
Mr. Siddars.
No.
Ms. Evans.
Yes.
Ms. Ardner.
Yes.
Mr. Giltner.
Yes, with stipulation that, taking Rodney and Kelly's word that the contract is, totally valid.
Mr. Pajot.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes, also with the stipulations, I second, Don, I trust in Rodney's engineering abilities, and I feel that that's what we paid Kelly to do, to put the bids together. And ultimately, it's on Kelly if something doesn't work out.
Mr. Dolbear.
Yes.
Mr. Rittenhouse.
Yes.
All right, motion passed.
So y'all wanna fix our streets?
A few of them anyway.
All
Oh,
right,
so
so
it's gonna be like last time.
it is. Straight up 7 o'clock. What's council's pleasure? We got something on the table and we also got consideration going to closed session.
I would really like to hear from Will before we make a final decision,
Can we-
since he's the one that's.
Can we take
on the
purpose
budget.
as call?
Yeah,
That?
maybe see where he's at. Ah. We could do it when we come back, but. And we were saying it's after the closed session. Lindy, after the closed session, could we retake up the police department vehicles, or is the open session after closed session only for things that we need to do resulting from closed session?
I think it would be fine to take it up after the closed session as long as everybody in the public knows that that is the plan in case they want to hear and be present.
Why would we go into closed session for a vehicle?
We're not.
We're closed sessions for hiring, firing and legal.
He's currently in Parksville.
I was asking
You
that.
all gonna have to talk a little louder. Got two hearing aids, I'm having trouble.
I was asking if we could, since Will is almost here but not quite, if we could put the final decision on the PD vehicles after closed session.
Right.
So that we can do something.
After closed session.
Right.
All right.
Memory said he's in Clarksville now.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session for the purposes of revising and attacking section 610.021, subsection 1 and 3.
So moved.
So seconded.
Got first and second, take the roll call, please.
Mr. Siddars.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Ardner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Pajot.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Dolbear.
Yes.
Mr. Rittenhouse.
Yes.
Let's take just a 3-minute recess so everyone can clear out. Make sure no one's on the floors, even the side room. We don't need anyone in. the
Is
side
there
room.
any way that we can know about the street though? Like, I feel like last time when y'all done like the Georgia Street, that we was left out of it. It was good out there.
No, that was done public. That was before I got on. That was-
I know, but like, it was supposed to be like outbid for somebody else to do, and then Louisiana end up doing it, and then like, cause now there's streets that are messed up because we had to take those detours for so long. And I'm just saying, can the public be more aware of what's going on with the street y'all trying to fix and stuff like that? Is it really gonna be outsourced this time?
Yeah, so we'll
We just wanna
publicize,
know that.
we'll publicize everything that we just did tonight, and it will show the street.
Thanks, homie.
Which one of you guys are the mayor? Is it Kim or is it Kelly?
All right, girls.
Because Kelly
We
used to
all
do
know.
everything.
That was a trick question.
I asked.
Make a motion to fire. Oh, absolutely. That's right. See if I'm sorry, I'm that.
Yeah, if we could. More of those nice polite comments from the public. about those. I appreciate that.
You gotta understand, I can't hardly hear, and when I'm listening to folks, see something.
I'm even having trouble hearing our lawyer.
I hear.
I guess that postage stamp is our lawyer.
Oh, my.
Figured out. This yours?
I think it was my mom. that did I did everything. It smelled.
You can have.
I usually got real good at hearing, but when I'm trying to really focus, I got a good wooden ear syndrome.
You can go through the.
I don't know, here lately, I just feel like I hear everything.
It's just amazing how things. All of a sudden, I get a phone call on my phone, my wife. Yeah.
Well, this might be you here.
Yeah, this is all.
Maybe it's a woman thing.
This is all we need. Oh, signal, I don't need mine. You can hear that. That's mine, I don't run.
Bill, I'm kind of jealous of that shirt. Not sure. Looked over, I was like, wait a minute, then I seen the old Union Needle, I'm like, oh, I know what it is.
I can say Will is here too.
Bring it in. Is
Yeah.
there anything that I can add for the rest of this meeting?
How about a fifth bucket eye, little sun drop?
That may happen. That may happen. No,
You say, that's what you got in there, you better start sharing. Like you used to be my car.
Whiskey.
I can. Next time.
I know.
Again, you would be happy, God, lot.
Are we in?
We're waiting for memory and,
Oh, man.
right now, memory will come down. If not, we need to do something regardless.
That stuff does happen.
Feeling.
You said I'm a little alone.
Oh, I could have just shouted.
Oh, I know.
And you didn't drink nothing.
Uh,
Oh, not even a beer?
I'll be dang. Well, 50 and a half years and, 12 days and going on, about 12 hours.
Give or take.
12 hours, so the last one was at 7:30 in the morning.
Might have been the night before.
March 17th, 1972 was my last run. Wow,
It's impressive.
that's a long time.
I think that was in the bar.
So,
Yeah, but I've made up for it before then.
all right, come to that, guys.
Did,
All right.
was there anyone else upstairs? We're good to go.
David wants to go, Bill.
that's fine.
All right,
Thank you.
all right. I can open session. You have to come to order again or call over anything? No, no.
We're already in.
Okay.
We can jump right in.
All right. Let's do this.
All right, I again, so. Chief, seems the biggest question that I've got.
Yes, sir.
is, we budgeted the payments for two roughly $28,000 vehicles with the charge, the expected expense on the charge.
Yeah, that was the original plan, the
And
Dodge
so
Chargers.
the ones we've got now cost was it in total 35,000?
I believe that's the number.
And so it's 7,000 over each vehicle in total. And so over 8 years, that'd be $1,800 or something.
Yeah, roughly $100 a month, I think, on lease purchase.
So. I mean, I suppose you're the guy that's day to day watching the police budget number, is that a number that we have somewhere? I mean, is there that much play in the budget that you would feel confident that we have that? Or,
I feel confident that we can make up that money. Obviously, I mean, the biggest improvements that the department needed has already been done. One of the things was technology itself with the computers and stuff of that nature. We had big expenses this last year. Sure, you can back me up on this one, Kelly. We split the servers, we caught all the electronic stuff. And we had the renovation of the third floor. That was last year's budget. We were able to update the camera system and everything else in that. really the only big expenses that we have left is the equipment that we actually utilize on a day-to-day basis, such as a patrol car. We do have money budgeted, of course, for training, so I'm not worried about training. We do have money budgeted for our training, and I plan on making some of that up from what is given for the training out of the city budget, because it can be all by what the state gives us for training for the law enforcement training fund. Also, as long as you are attending a post-certified class, we can do them online with the sheriff's department also. Them are free by the Missouri Sheriff's Association. We've been pushing the officers to do them to get their training, and then we're trying to make up some money in the budget. But I do feel that it's a doable situation.
So I may state this another way. We had discussions. Sometimes there's what we need and what we can afford, and we have to find the balance between the two.
Sure, sure.
So we didn't quite go into it in this depth, but sometimes our personal budget, there's what we need that we can't afford, but we have to cut somewhere else.
Sure.
So if we go down the path of two vehicles, and are you comfortable with total expenditures item? You can get those two vehicles in without us having to come like out of reserves or some other source.
Or an emergency situation that is unforeseen.
Again, I understand that there's always an emergency.
Right.
Because that's the big concern. We're not doubting the fact that the situation has put us where we need, two vehicles. And I mentioned, I'd ask you today that if we could squeeze through with one now and go through the process. And the mayor was mentioning that, that we're looking at, if we go through the process on another one, we're probably 10 months out before we get a new one. So that's our concern, is making it fit within the given budget constraints.
Sure.
Something that was talked about briefly, what are the availabilities, if so, of any used vehicles, for instance, highway patrol, or is that a source that is out there?
It is a source that's out there. If you look at what the highway patrol does, they rotate their vehicles out at 50,000 miles. When they rotate their vehicles out, I mean, they're in good shape, and they're snatched up all over the place. By even Illinois snatches their vehicles. What they normally do is they try to give them to the local governments in Missouri, whether it's a county government or whether it is municipalities. If you look at the prices of the vehicle, you're looking usually around 12.5 is what the old Crown Vics went for. The off colors might have went down as low as 10,000. I mean, they have a great maintenance program. But you got to also figure you're getting a vehicle that's already got 50,000 miles. That being said, if you have like a transport vehicle that you're always on the road with, yeah, it's not a big deal to run like one of the old Crown Vics, 150,000 miles, 200,000 miles. The problem is when you do day-to-day patrol and the vehicles, and I'm not slamming on the street department in any way, shape, or form, but our roads ain't exactly the best either. Because of that and the wear and tear that's on it to stop and to go into traffic. I mean, anybody that knows anything about mechanics knows that's what's really hurts the vehicle, the transmissions, the rear ends, the internal combustion engines. So if you're doing long trips, yeah, you can go 200,000 miles. If you're sometimes lucky to get 100,000 miles on a patrol vehicle in a municipality. The counties usually get a little bit higher than what the municipalities do, but they're running 50 miles down the highway, goes to a call. They're not running 5 blocks, then turn around, jump in a car, running another 5 blocks.
But it would be something to fall back on, if you didn't get the second call. Is it probable to be able to get?
Well, I don't want to say it's probable, or I don't want to say it's not probable, because I can give you the research that I've done in the past, and I can give you my familiarity with this. What I can say is that they usually have an abundance of vehicles. They, especially from the Crown Vics, they went to the Ford Tauruses, and then they went to the SUVs. The SUVs, of course, I mean, they're all-wheel drive vehicles or four-wheel drive vehicles, depending on what model they are. They get snatched up quickly. I can tell you that right now, just like in private life, it's almost impossible to find good used vehicles that aren't outrageously high right now, just because of the manufacturing of new and stuff associated with it. So a lot of departments have been like going to them. Now, do they have a good maintenance program? Sure they do. And it's always been my practice to communicate with the patrol, because they usually come out of Troop F. And talk to them and try to get like a supervisor vehicle, like a lieutenant vehicle or a captain vehicle or a K-9 specialty vehicle. They're not run as hard. Let's just be honest. I mean, the highway patrols out on the highway, they go from 0 to 100 to catch up with you. Does that put wear and tear on the vehicle? Sure it does. Are we getting a pristine 10 out of 10 vehicle? Nope. Could we get a limit? It's possible. You know, but last time I looked at it, they were like 11.5 for the Taurus and the Crown Vics.
Are they available?
They do have, but they had all kinds of Tauruses available. The SUVs, they did not.
You can buy a new car and get a lemon.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
But which one be better than nothing?
Well, I mean, obviously one would be better than nothing, but what I just want to make sure everybody understands is this. The impression that we have three, we don't. We have two. One of the patrol vehicles that everybody keeps referring to as a patrol vehicle is a specialty vehicle. It is the K-9 vehicle itself. It has the K-9 cage in it. And I would caution, and I'm sure Lindy and Greg could say this better than I can, that there is a department that was out east that recently transported a bad guy because they were using their K-9 vehicle as a patrol vehicle, and they transported them in the cage. And they got the crap suit out of them, and they lost. I will tell you that. So no way, shape, or form do I want to do that. Lenny, Greg, I mean, I'm sure you guys know the case law better than me. So taking that consideration out, it puts you down to two vehicles. I remind everybody, one of the vehicles was parked for almost 1.5 years and never utilized until I got here. And then what we did was we took it down and we had the transmission filter and stuff changed out on it. And we were like, okay, we're just going to make it sort of like an admin vehicle to run around and give an extra take-home vehicle. It's still pursuit worthy per se. That being said, transmission runs a little bit better, but if anybody, it's almost embarrassing if you guys have seen this at the stop sign, because you either put it in first gear to get it to go forward or transmission slips. And might rev the engine to 3,000 RPMs until it shifts. What does that usually mean? I'm a motorhead, I'll tell you what it usually means. It usually means your bands in the transmission are bad. Now, that being said, there's a vehicle that was not sold at the auction that has a transmission that fits in it. The PI package transmissions, there's no PI transmission per se. You know, transmission for the police interceptor packages or your compression ratio, rates, your charging system, your cooling system. That's predominantly what it is. Was our plan that originally? Yeah, if we could get it swapped out, use that, that'd be great. But I also, we spoke to Raymond about it, and that was using that transmission for here. If it was done in the shop, we were told about $5,000. Well, vehicle was not worth 5,000, you know, but we sold it tomorrow, we'll probably get $850,000, $1,200. I don't know, depends on who wants it. It is definitely the oldest vehicle. I think it's an 80, no, it's like a 92, 93. I don't got it on top of my head, but it's an older vehicle.
I didn't want to stop you. I just
Go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt you, but so as far as transport vehicle, you know, have we ever utilized, you know, I'm going back with Councilman Ringhausen, you know, we definitely, everyone's on board with one, and what we're teetering on is two. And we've been talking about used vehicles evidently, and we've been talking about even putting money into one of our used vehicles. And also is brought up by Councilman Ringhausen that if we was to do that and we needed a second vehicle as a need, we can do it under, you know, an emergency session if we had to.
Problem is that you got a 10-month waiting list
For a new vehicle.
for new vehicle. And you got a waiting list with highway patrol vehicles too.
So the question I have is as you talk about transport, we transport prisoners, right?
Well, obviously, people get arrested, we gotta take them.
And we've utilized Pike County Sheriff's Office to help us with that on occasion, right?
No,
We've
no.
never had them hauled in.
Well, I mean, obviously, if we are swamped with calls and they have nothing going on, that it depends on the deputy that's on duty, if they will assist us or not. I mean, that's, you know, part of it. I mean, just like we'll assist them if they need it and we have multiple people on.
I mean, my concern is like if we had both our vehicles down in the garage and out of service and we couldn't transport in the new Explorer and we can't transport in the Durango, and we needed someone to haul someone, we probably could make it happen.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of moving parts to that question. For example, I mean, if you pick up a person on a municipal warrant for, I don't know, illegal burning out of Winfield or someplace, the chances of them being violent are pretty minimal. You know, if you are taking somebody for driving while revoked and you're taking them to felony, I mean, come on, it's not like it's the criminal crime where they're rape, pillaging, breaking into houses, doing robberies with weapons. I mean, obviously, I would be comfortable if that individual was or was not in handcuffs and they were sitting in the front seat of the vehicle. The problem then predominantly is that day to day, you don't know what you're going to get. So if you take, for example, you have a vehicle, let's say one new vehicle, and that's the vehicle that you have that's transporting. It's going to be utilized by every patrol officer, every shift. It's going to have to be. You're going to have 12 hours on the day side, 12 hours on the night side, because predominantly we run one officer on duty a shift. So if you are at the location and you are, say, let's just say a domestic situation and you arrest an individual, I mean, statistically speaking, domestics are some of the most unsafe incidents that officers can go on. I mean, predominantly you have the possibility of two people that are malicious and want to fight or whatever. And they're hyped up, their emotions is up. That's somebody that you not want to put in the front seat of the vehicle with you, because they could reach over, they could headbutt, grab your stuff, they could grab the wheel, all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, could that happen at any time? Yes. You try to minimize that possibility, most definitely do. But if you have a vehicle that is for transport, I mean, we'll use the gray Impala. Gray Impala doesn't have a cage in it. It would be for non-violent transports. Then you have car 3. Car 3 does have a security cage in it if you have an individual that's out of control. That would be what you would have. If we had one vehicle and it was one of the Fords, obviously we would put in there a transport cage. When we did the original numbers, the numbers were a little bit higher. We were able to pull some of the money off the inmate prisoner transport fund, which is a restricted fund. That piece of equipment, you can't buy everything with it. It has to be related to that. So myself and Kelly sit down and we review the numbers a little bit, trying to get the number down a little bit. Yes.
All right, would you rather have a new car or would you rather have a new car and a used highway patrol car?
You give me the choice of 2 or 1, I'll always take the 2.
Well,
You know, I mean, definitely, I mean, it's,
that's what I'm asking.
you know, I mean, obviously, 2 vehicles, no matter what, would always be better than 1.
When we were talking about the options on one car, the discussion got down to what ifs. And we were talking about what if we had one car. And my point was, we had one car. And there was an emergency and we ended up with back to where we're at now.
Right.
There would be situations where there could be a emergency meeting held. And we would find a solution fast.
Sure.
You have to have it, you have to run. So I wasn't promoting one.
Right.
That's just an option in case
Right.
something.
And I mean, it's completely up to the council. I mean, I'm not, of course, it's my job to try to do the best I can. Department, obviously, you know, it's my job to try to get the best equipment I can for the department. But I got to be practical also. You know, it's not like I can walk here and say, give me 5 cars, give me 10 cars, give me 20 cars, give me 10 extra officers. I can tell you, I can give you 1,000 reasons why we need something a little bit more, something a little bit more, something a little bit more. And I can make the reasons viable and truthful, but you come to the point where you have to look at cost analysis of possibility. Now, can I tell you that Here's what I can tell you about the Impala. It will not surprise me if the Impala's transmission goes out in the next few months. That's a given. Would we want to sink $5,000 in the car that is worth 1,000? I wouldn't think so. That's throwing good money after bad, but that's not my decision. That would be your guys' decision. I mean, let's say you put a new transmission in, and then you sold the car tomorrow. So you got now $1,000 car with $5,000 transmission, you sell it for $1,000.
Well, I really
That
think
would be
we
one.
can go on all night about what ifs, but the issue comes down. Are we gonna buy one car, or are we gonna buy one car and then think about a highway patrol car if we look at it? It's, we got a budget. And
I
we're
agree
in
with
the
that.
4th month of the budget.
Mhm.
And this is something that we have to stick with. Because if we don't, I sure don't want you handling my money.
Sure, no, I agree. And you know, on the flip side of that coin, I hope it's not somebody's family member in this room that needs that assistance and the people can't get there.
I
I
agree.
mean, you know, unfortunately, there is bottom line black and red in a budget. There is. Guarantee it. Did many. And then you gotta say, what if sometimes in emergency situations, you gotta say what if, and you gotta be prepared for it. And not being prepared for it can catch you with your pants down.
So
Now, when you go past that and you look for the Taurus that we have, which is car 3, for the Ford Taurus, the front end is shot.
Say it's got some issues itself, doesn't it?
And we took it down to get an estimate at River City Towing. And it was like $7,500. Don't quote me the exact number. It was that ballpark, $7,500. I don't want to sink $7,500 into a car that's going to be worth $1,500, $2,000.
Does it have an engine knock too?
It has a little bit of a knock on it. It's got roughly 50,000 miles on it. And I mean, you're talking number 6 cylinders, you know, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, V8s do hold up a little bit better. You know, they're not aluminum blocks, they're big blocks. I mean, you know, old Motorhead, I can tell you that. But that being said, all of the cars are made a lot different today than they were 20 years ago. But it would not shock me if both them cars didn't make it through 6 months, 3 months. Problem is, if they do go down, then we're still on a waiting list. We're 10 months for a new vehicle out. Can't help that, you know? And then if you look at the highway patrol, do I have the exact number? No, I don't have it in front of me. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I can tell you that you're still looking at a lag time because they canceled all the orders for all the vehicles across manufacturing. Ford, Chevrolets, Dodges, they canceled. And they said, nope, we'll do it. And they said predominantly it was because they couldn't get parts. You know, they couldn't get the components it needs to build the vehicles. So, you know, the idea that 2 available vehicles was a viable option because we had 2 that was coming in our budget. And we were like, okay, well, it wouldn't have been bad, but let's be honest, we wrecked 2 vehicles. We're 2 vehicles less than the fleet. No matter what, if we replace it with one, our efficiency level is lower than it was before. That I can't say. It's lower than it was before. And then when you look at 2 vehicles that are on their last legs mechanically, and that's not me saying that, that's a reputable garage who has done the actual getting under it, looking at it and saying, this is what's wrong with it.
Have you taken it to another garage?
No, I mean, I've got nothing but faith and confidence in the one we took it to.
Chief, I had a couple
Mhm.
questions. So worst case scenario, if we were to buy one Explorer, worst case scenario, we'd have 2 decent vehicles.
I disagree. We have one.
But we,
You're counting the Dodge
yeah, I mean,
SUV.
so
not
I'm not asking,
Roll.
I'm not making a statement that you're using it as a
Well, but-
transport vehicle, but.
No, but you gotta take into consideration a lot of things on that. A, we can't use it for a transport vehicle, okay? So now, let's say hypothetically.
Okay, before we start going way off, the thing is, right now, we use car 3 and the Durango. I've never seen the Ford. I haven't seen the gray and the car three, which one's car three?
The white one is white.
I haven't seen them both out at the same time, you know, maybe I'm.
You're missing it because then it gets patrolled in. The only officer that uses the Durango is the K-9 officer.
Because you're saying that you don't use K-9 for patrol, I mean.
No,
when I say,
I did not say patrol, I said for transport.
okay, well, longer,
And patrol in.
okay, all right.
It's possible,
Well,
and let's say the K-9 officer doesn't arrest on a traffic stop. Let's say they go to a call, because our K-9 officer actually covers the shift. You pick up the phone and you say, I need a transport vehicle. Has that happened numerous times? Yep, it has. And then we go pick up that individual, we put them in the car that we can transport them in, and then we go in that particular car.
and right now, what's our rotation for our schedule as far as covering shifts? How many's on duty?
What do you mean?
What's the average? How many patrolmen are on duty daily?
One, daily, you look at roughly 3. We try to run when we're full staff. Well, we have 7 officers when we're full staff, and they run 36 hours one week, 48 the next. They work 12s. So that being said, what happens is you have to have a minimum of 4 patrol officers to cover everything. That's 12, but I'm trying to tell you, that means 1.
That's fully staffed. We have.
No, that's not. That's 4. You have to have 4 officers, no matter how you cut it. If you work 12 hours from like 6A to 6P, then you got to run a 6P to 6A. And then if you run 3 shifts this week, the opposite team runs 4.
I
And
got
then
you.
you flip it over. So no matter how you look at it, you got to have 4 officers.
That's
covered.
2 per shift per.
No,
day.
that's, 2 per
Shift
day.
per day,
No,
because there's 2 shifts in a day, right?
yeah, that's 2 per day, not 2 per shift. 2 per shift would mean you run 2 officers, 6A to 6P. We don't do that.
All right.
You run 6.
I was just trying to correlate it, the number of cars versus the number of on-duty people. Council, y'all got any other questions for the chief?
No, not really.
Who are you responsible to? Who's your boss?
Everybody in this room is my boss. I mean, it depends on.
I mean, who are you answerable to day if it comes down to that?
The city council is what the city council chose.
Oh, we don't have a mayor?
I'm telling you what the city council chose, not me. I'm telling you what was voted on and put in place. Now, does the mayor give direction and guidance? Yeah, of course he does. But I don't understand.
He is in charge of the police department, is he not?
Depending on the issue, yes. Like, for example, if you're doing an investigation, he comes up and says, don't arrest that person. No, he's not in charge. I'm telling you, don't enforce that. But if you're talking day-to-day operational stuff, then predominantly,
Well,
yes.
what I'm getting at is that it seems like we're having difficulty in communication. And you know how I feel about communication.
Express it, yes.
And it seems like you two can't talk to each other. We have to do it in writing and we have to come back and all this other stuff, and I don't understand that. I don't understand. This is one building, 3 flights of steps. Can't we communicate with each other?
I strongly believe we should be able to, yes.
You are tonight, then why can't, you're communicating with the mayor tonight and he's communicating with you? Why can't we do it during the day? Or why this issue? This issue
That
of
particular-
cars could have been solved by sitting down with each other.
Well, I think there's multiple layers to that statement.
Well, it might be.
The multiple layers is the day-to-day operations of the city belongs to the city administrator. I spoke to the city administrator on this issue.
City
does not.
administrator is not in charge of the police. He
No, he
is
has
not-
general- he
that
has
is one
general-
duty He's not in charge.
No, he's not in charge of direct supervision of the police. He still gives the budget. He still gives what the city codes are. He still gives operational stuff. As, for example, like when you go to spend off your budget and you need additional money or move it, I would go to Kelly. That's who I normally go to. You know, he is, and the council even chose that he was in charge of
Well,
the operation.
Why didn't we come back and writing in red on the?
I was,
Gentlemen, let's get back to the point.
Well,
As
this is
far-
on point.
as
This
far
has to do with cars.
I was never discussed that with the issue. I will tell you that. And I never had a communication.
I put forth all the information to the council. I've come down here multiple times and expressed the same things that I'm expressing now. Everybody in the room, to include the mayor and the 8 council members, has been involved in the discussion.
Well, I asked you this one time,
Mhm.
I think it was probably four meetings ago or something like that, and you were in the back of the room, why we couldn't communicate better. And I thought I got a kind of a positive response out of that, but I'm not seeing it.
Well, traditionally speaking, like you made mention earlier, the mayor supervises the police department. Yeah, he does. He's the chief executive officer of the city. I understand that. It's not my place to go to him and say, Mr. Mayor, we need to have a conversation. If I don't know where the discussion's going, it's not like I'm gonna go to him and say.
And not ask you to come down to the scene or ask him to come to your
Very-
office or anything?
On very specific issues, and we discussed the issues that he wanted to discuss in his office that particular time. As for the car issue, how I found out about it was through an email. So I had to respond to the council through an email, you know?
I'm not having any problems talking to you. I don't know why everybody else can't do the same thing.
Chief, the big thing on this,
Mhm.
and we need to get that answered. We got to get the question on the floor and get it voted on, what we're gonna do. I don't want to prolong it anymore, so I'm not really looking for an exchange, but the disappointment I had is he was fully aware of 2 vehicles, May the 2nd, that were available, that were unclaimed, and said, we'll take it verbally with the dealership. And that was ahead of our budget. That's ahead of our budget time. We had a price on those Explorers. We could have included it all right into our budget. And wouldn't even have this discussion going on right now.
I'm not,
That's
I don't do the budget.
That's my disappointment. Well, you have insight into your own budget for the department, right?
And it was shared, if you look at the conversations that were shared through the emails that were exchanged between you and Mr. Anderson. That's the fiduciary of the city. That's who I was communicating with.
Well, this council.
Why you calculate it, I don't know.
Let's call the question. Who's got a motion?
Why don't we start with, what, Chief, one last question. What would you say a full fleet of cars is?
5,
5?
and that would be with an admin car.
You feel confident that the 2 can fit in the budget?
I feel confident that the money difference between the 2 that was originally budgeted and the lease purchase cost, I'm guesstimating on this. I'm not an accountant. I'm guesstimating it's probably in the neighborhood of $100 a car. Over, if you do that over a 6-year lease purchase, that's 72 months, that's about $7,200. That's about where it came at. Do I think we can make up the $200 in the budget elsewhere per month? Yes, I do.
All right, then we
It'd
have,
be more than that, Steve. I think Kelly estimated it's gonna be $5,600 a year that we would be having to go somewhere.
That's right. If you do 5,600, that's roughly $50 a month, which is $6,000 times 2 would be 12. The 11,2 comes out to roughly about $100 a month. That's what I was going by, just from the figures. Like I said, I'm not an accountant, but when you spread it over 72 months, that comes way down. From a monthly aspect, it's still the same amount of money, but you're not coming up with the big piece of the cake at the same time. And I got it figured at roughly about $100 difference. And do I think that could be made up monthly? Yes.
all right, then, I suppose we had one that passed last time, we had a veto, so first, I suppose we should, I'll make a motion in the form of a question. Shall the resolution pass the objections of the mayor thereto notwithstanding? And that's relating to, the lease purchase from last time on 2 vehicles.
I will second that motion.
Any discussion?
Make your motion again, please.
So, at the last meeting, we voted by resolution to authorize the lease purchase for 2 vehicles, the 2 new vehicles that we have outside. And so first, I'm making a motion in the form of a question, shall the bill, or shall the resolution pass the objections of the mayor thereto notwithstanding? So that's for buying 2 vehicles.
It's a motion to override.
Yeah, it's an override. It has to have that specific language. That's the only reason I use that strange language.
A motion to override these veto.
That's the first motion.
Yeah,
Motion on the floor.
that'd be for buying the 2 cars.
Any discussion?
My own view is that if we're looking, if a fleet is gonna be 4 or 5 cars, and we've got only one that's in any kind of good condition, I think we need to get them now if we can while we have them. Because even, I know that we've had some trouble with the Tauruses in the past, right?
Yes,
And so it sounds like all we'd be able to get out of the highway patrol on any kind of moderately short notice would be a Taurus.
that is predominantly what they do have.
And so that might be a way to expand the fleet in the future. But I'd like to have something that's gonna last us a little while. That's all I have.
Any other discussion? Lindy, for resolution, what is it, 3/4 of a normal?
Yeah, there would need to be 6.
Roll does not
All
drive.
right, take the roll call, please.
Sedar. Evans,
Yes.
Sarno. Yes. Mr. Gilzar,
No.
Joe,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Gobert,
Yes.
Springhouse.
For all those that.
Motion fails.
You're not doing my finance.
And I will make a motion to approve the lease purchase agreements as we had previously. Amending the 5 years that you had mentioned to 8 in accord with the appendix at the end. For the purchase of 1 vehicle. Lindy, is that clear enough on the legal side that we can use that same contract but do it only for 1 vehicle?
Yes, if you. Yes, sorry, I was thinking out loud and I got ahead of myself. Yes, that's enough for me. I would
Maybe-
specify so the 1 vehicle here, let me just pull it up really quick because I have the information.
Sure. So what we're looking for now is to authorize the purchase of 1, and Lindy's checking the information for what the
I just-
numbers are.
Yeah, I'm
Use
gonna
the
get you
That same
the
contract.
specific number.
She'll just be in trouble.
Sorry, of course, there's a lot of emails on this.
That's all right.
It's 35.
Okay, so I think the amount left to finance for 1 unit would only be $15,851.
You said that was 50,000 what?
$851. And so just for the council's information, this was in the last packet. The total purchase price for 1 unit would be $41,475. That includes the outfitting.
Yep.
And then $25,624 would be from the insurance proceeds.
All right, so do I need to include the 1,500 to finance? Is that the only number, or do I need the total?
That's the only number. That would be financed.
All right, so then I'll restate the motion. To approve the lease purchase of one Ford Explorer vehicle. Financed in the amount of $15,851. And that would be executed by Kelly, right? As the purchasing agent. He would actually execute it.
Yes.
Anything else we need?
I will second that.
And discussion. And just, city clerk,
Buy one car, right? Yes.
Okay. Price is much for the next.
we're gonna move on this. City clerk,
Yeah.
mark my objection down, as far as detailing and writing and resolution form. We're doing it by motion because we are in a necessity of getting a car, so. Just mark that down as an objection of mine. Any other discussion?
We are using the same contract, right? So it's just the.
We had a resolution in front of us before, now we're not
Right, so
using a
It's
resolution.
just the resolution part that you object, that we don't have a resolution on.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Best practice is to reduce it in writing, and not just the contract itself, but what actually enacts the contract. So that's my objection to it. I mean, I understand we need a car and we're gonna pass it. Y'all are gonna pass it more than likely. I just want to know from moving here forward that we always have a mindset to have these things prepared ahead of a meeting so we know how to act on it quickly. Any other discussion?
Would you prefer I make it in the form of that we use the previous resolution, that I amend the previous resolution to state one vehicle?
It's already been voted and seconded, and I vetoed it, so I understand for this. I'm just, for my due diligence is my objection. Not my intent to throw rocks at you. City clerk, will you take the roll?
Mr. Center. Evans,
Yes.
or no? Yes. Mr. Gilner,
Yeah.
Mr. Monroe,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Gobert,
Yes.
Mr. Ringhouse.
Motion passed. Is that in on the agenda? Any misleading business? Hearing none. Entertain motion to adjourn, so moved. Second, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries.
No, mine.
All right.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Because whenever we get contracts, if you look at the